Hello everyone and welcome. Make a cup of your favorite drink and get comfortable because this is a wonderful time for new stories from YellowCat. Send your own stories in the comments below and maybe they'll be in our new video. What was your best "you're speaking to the manager right now" moment? Back when I was in the Air Force, there was a base picnic. I was put on the crew to get things set up. This task was finished, and we were just standing around BSing, waiting for people to show up. A young-looking guy, turns out he was in his 40s, but legitimately looked 25, walks up and starts talking to us. He introduced himself as the new Operations Group Commander and was a Colonel Select. He'd literally arrived on base that very morning and heard about the picnic. A couple minutes later, our boss, a major, shows up and walks over to us. He said, "Hey guys, I think the new OG might be here today. Be on your best behavior because I heard he's a real a-hole." We all stared at him in horror. The OG just smiled, stuck out his hand, and said, "Hi, I'm the a-hole, but you can call me Colonel." Not my story, but my father's from World War II. During World War II, my father was a boss of several repair and maintenance gangs in SF Harbor. They were in a hurry to finish up a ship that needed final inspection that night with an intent to sail the next day. He comes across a man in a passageway that was looking lost and instantly commandeered him into moving painting supplies onto the deck for removal to the dock later. He worked him hard for a few hours, got called away to deal with something else, and came back a few hours later to find this man surrounded by other men and finishing up moving the supplies. The man greeted my father and asked what was next. My father moved him and his crew on to the next task and moved on. Later on, they all finished up in time for inspection and were getting things off of the dock and into warehouses when he ran across this man again. This time wearing an officer's uniform. Apparently, he was the XO of the ship. My father started to apologize and the XO brushed it off and said, "Officers learn early never to get in the way of a man who's getting things done." When I was 19, I was promoted to manager of the front of the house in this little seafood place I'd been working at since I was about 15. On the BOH manager's day off, I'd be the only manager there. This woman used to come in and order the clam chowder about once a week, eat it all, and then claim it was made differently than the last time and demand that it be comped. For some reason, the previous manager always just did it, but it annoyed me that she was being rewarded for being dishonest since we had the same recipe and followed it exactly since the place had opened. I was just waiting for her to try it on me, and finally she did. I was the only manager there that day, and sure enough, one of the waitresses said she needed a comp for a table, and there was the cheap A. I went over there, and she told me, "Last time you had all kinds of vegetables in this chowder. I'm not paying for it." I was like, "Ma'am, we've been making that chowder the same way since the place opened, and you know it as well as I do. So you can either pay for it like a decent person, or I can comp it, and you are not welcome here ever again." Cue her demanding to see the manager. I nearly burst out in an evil villain-style cackle when I informed her that she was looking at the manager. She tried to argue for a couple minutes and then finally gave up, paid, and never came back. Friend of mine. She was getting chewed out over something or other. Finally, the woman loudly demanded to see the manager. So she shrugged and got the manager. Manager comes out all confused. Angry woman demands my friend get fired. Manager is very confused. "But ma'am, I can't do that. She's the owner." Customer was getting all B about a coupon. Cashier called me over. Normally, I'd just let it slide and accept the coupon, but then she had the audacity to insult my cashier, claiming she was incompetent. So I denied it, cause F this lady. She got all P, demanded to talk to the manager. Sorry, the manager left for the day, but the supervisor is here. "Well then, I want to speak to your supervisor," she hissed. "I am the supervisor," I said firmly. "This coupon is not valid." "Fine!" She huffed and left her stuff at the counter, muttering about never shopping there again. Cashier was a bit shaken up, but I'm not very good at consoling, so I just said, F her, we don't need her. We had a shift manager lady I would not describe as a B, but she was crass, blunt, direct, had resting B face, and was no nonsense. She definitely got called a B by the nonsense purveyors. Her name is Kelly. Kelly always sounded like she was scolding you. We need you on register 6 sounded like 10 minutes ago, you laggard, but she was really just saying the way the world is. We need you on 6, go! She was the one manager least likely to be the only one. There were usually 2 or 3, maybe at the service counter, maybe cashiering, and just one was on duty as the manager. Ostensibly, she wasn't the first choice for de-escalating a customer. One day, it was just Kelly. Some random a-hole was going off on a poor girl who didn't even F up. He went over the line. Maybe called her a name, maybe he got too loud. Kelly, get the F out of my store. God, if you could see her face, hear her voice, it was like a commandment from a vengeful god. Dude scrammed, customers and cashiers made eye contact, and it seemed to say, are we okay? Is everything okay? He was in the wrong, wasn't he? That's not a very nice thing to say, but I'm so glad she said it. And no one clapped or anything, but everyone was exceedingly smiley and friendly for a solid hour, except Kelly. Kelly gonna Kelly. A salesman walks into the reception area where I happen to be. I asked him if I could help him, and he barely acknowledges my existence. A few more attempts, and he says he wants to talk to someone more senior. At that moment, one of the staff enters, who is older than me. The salesman immediately tries to flag him down and asks to speak to someone in charge. He points at me and says, well, the owner's standing right there. I love that. I am the youngest person who works in my main office. I also happen to be the GM and part owner of the company. Had someone come in talking to one of the employees who has been here 28 years. This guy has a conniption about a warranty issue, asks for a manager. My guy comes and gets me. I go out there and ask, how can I help? Guy says he needs a manager. Sir, I am the manager. Then I need the owner. I am also the owner. What can I do for you? I don't believe you. Okay then, employee, we are denying that warranty request. I'll let his management know what happened. 10 years ago, I was a retail manager for Bath & Body Works. One day during holiday, a customer began going off on one of my seasonal employees. Like, psychotically screaming at her because we were out of Peppermint Twist body lotion. I walked up and asked the girl to cover registers and that I would talk to the customer. Customer began yelling at me. After another 5 minutes of insisting it was in the back. Her, I want to speak to your manager. Me, miss, I am the manager on duty. This is a popular item. We have none in the back. None of our other stores in the area have anymore. You're welcome to look online, but I doubt it is there anymore either. Have a lovely day. She turned purple and asked for a customer service number to complain. It was December 24th. I work at a holiday store, and the number of items we had people come a-screaming for on Christmas Eve was truly astonishing. I need 15,000 lights. I need matching tableware for 20 people. I need a Christmas ornament that's 2 elves climbing a ladder with 1 blonde elf and 1 brunette. Still my favorite one. Like, I get it. You procrastinated or didn't have time. I'm a full-time college student who works 30 hours a week. I haven't had a real day off in 2 years. I know how hard it is to make time and how frustrating it can be and how angry at yourself you are. But abusing employees won't do jack S and actually makes people less helpful to you because any employee who sees you melt down isn't going to help you and they're probably going to tell the rest of the team about the crazy a-hole in the blue jacket or whatever. I got a parking ticket a few months ago. When I was waiting in line to pay it, I started talking to the lady next to me. Apparently, she just got fined under a new ordinance for keeping her work van parked in the street for a month. She was ranting and raving about how the city has become N Germany because of laws like this. Those city councilors are bees, how dare they? I quietly listened and nodded. Well, I'm on the city council and I helped write that ordinance. We have it in place because people like her keep their cars in front of people's driveways and make it impossible for them to pull out in the morning. When I went to the cashier and was greeted with, "Good morning, counselor," her jaw nearly dropped. Not the manager, but a woman called the store I, 20 years old at the time, worked at, and I answered the phone. Me. Store name Raven Spray speaking. Her. I need to speak to an adult. Me. Hold on, let me grab one. Hello, Raven Spray speaking. She was not amused, but my manager was. A friend of mine will occasionally walk into the back of the store when asked to speak to a manager, then walk right back up to them and ask how can he help. Got contacted by a recruiter for a job in my own team that I was the hiring manager for. I told him that the job spec looked quite familiar as I had written it. My manager was from Jamaica, this is important, and was helping me get my cash register / monitor working again. This lady comes up and waits a good 5 minutes even after we told her we were trying to fix the machine. I wasn't the only cashier open, but the other lady was older and a little slower. She starts getting really upset, and he told her to calm down and wait a few more minutes in his strong accent. She yells, "Okay, I want to talk to a manager because I can't talk to someone who hardly speaks English." His English was perfect, but he just had an accent. He then looks at her and says, "I am the manager, ma'am," in the most monotone voice ever, and she says, "Oh my god, I'm never coming back here," in the most peed off tone ever. Not the best story, but was still funny. I had similar in a call center. Customer complains that the last time she called, she was sent to India. I look at her account. She last talked to my manager, who was born in India and has an Indian name, but has lived here long enough to almost have a local accent. I used to do security patrols on banks, had a large BMW bike. Some F-wit cut me off one day, nearly caused an accident. I gave him the finger over the screen and let it go. 10 minutes later, I'm getting off my bike to go to one of my banks, and same F-wit in a suit comes screaming across the car park yelling insults with, "Do you know who I am?" Me. Nope. Him. "I'm so-and-so, area manager of Australian supermarket," i.e. he was manager of maybe 30 stores. Me. "Righto, mate," and a "whatever, I don't care" look on my face, which seemed to irritate him even more. Him. "I demand to talk to your manager." I give him my business card, which he calls. I answer with, "Yeah mate, what's up?" while staring right at him. Cue ranting and expletives as he storms off. Thank you for watching. Guys, thank you for all the support and the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. See you next time.